What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Skews Day to you. It is December 10th, 2024. I'm Trey. That's Mark. How you doing there, Mark?
Good, buddy. Got a fun show. I'm particularly excited to talk about a crypto scam, which we're not going to bother talking about what crypto is anymore because it doesn't fucking matter.
Hmm.
Trump's going to steal $1 billion from the Federal Reserve using crypto. We can talk about that. Also talk about the United Healthcare shooter assassin being caught with a ghost gun at a McDonald's. Same world we're living in. Before we get to the show, a couple things we're going to talk about. One, I was listening to an interview with a guy who wrote a book about the rise of their modern airport, basically trying to explain how they became uh, luxury malls combined with federal prisons. And
Yeah, right. I feel like I know, well, I don't not know, but I have a good guess for the federal prison part. Is what, and a lot of that because of, terrorism and overreaction to it and that type of thing. People hijacking planes and later on blowing them up and stuff like that. So they
right,
kept adding all these prison
for
like
sure.
requirements to it. And for
And
malls,
then,
that's just capitalism, isn't it? You just want people
well,
to
yeah,
spend money.
because
Captive
people
audience.
because people have to get there 3 hours earlier and they're stuck there and they have
Right. They're
layovers. They
stuck
might as well
there.
shop. Right.
So they're
So
going to pay 200% markup or whatever over what they would elsewhere because where else you going to get this Monster Energy drink from? You can't.
right,
So pay us $10
right.
for it.
But the interesting part to me was like back when the mayor of New York got him to LaGuardia, the guy the airport's named after, he tried to get Congress to fund the construction of a giant airport in New York City because they only had Newark. And Republicans in Congress refused to fund the construction of airports because they thought that air travel was a fad and airports were the flying essentially was woke nonsense, right?
Hmm.
Because if you want to get around, you should take a train like a man or get a job and buy a horse and buggy like a goddamn hippie because no one wants to die on the Donner Pass in a covered wagon anymore. You soft ass pussies, basically, is
Now,
what happened.
I'm totally sure that that is also part the whole there was so
Mm-hmm.
many people that thought the internet was a fad. Everybody always think, that'll never catch on air
Mm-hmm.
travel. Uh, but also, I do wonder if some element of it was, big car. So much of this country's history has been shaped by cars and highways and travel and stuff like that, and any other kind of. I mean, internationally, sure, you can't drive a car across the ocean. Not yet. Hey, maybe we should look into building,
Uh,
international states across those types of highways. But
it would have been more big
anyway,
train and big cruise and big boat. People got to cross the
yeah,
ocean with ocean
big
liners
boat,
and stuff. Yeah,
big boat tried to take out big plane and couldn't do it. All right.
right. So, one other thing I want to talk to you. Just the most American thing to ever. Well, we're going to tell about a lot of most American things
It's
to ever
all
happen. Of
American
course, yeah,
stuff tonight, buddy.
yeah. So this woman named Liliana Goodson got caught about a year ago trying to sneak a gun into Australia, and she just got sentenced like a year. It's going to be about 4 months in prison, like 8 months, so like some sort of like suspended sentence type situation. But the manner in which this happened is extremely hilarious. One, just trying to sneak a gold plated gun into Australia for quote unquote personal protection is like whatever. You're fine. You don't need to take a gun to Australia,
Yeah,
lady.
right, exactly. It's like it's not like no disrespect to the good people of Mogadishu, but you're not going to Somalia or anywhere
Right,
like that. Like, what do you really need your gun? But Americans
right.
always need our guns, baby. Got to have your gun, even in
And I,
Australia. That's the outback. You seen the creatures they got down there, Mark? Like fucking kill
yeah,
you in one bite. You got to be able to
she
shoot them.
she wanted to shoot a human torso sized spider, I reckon. But like again, gold plated gun in her luggage. And also, I'm not.
Yeah.
This is not a critique of her appearance, but if you want to smuggle guns into someplace, you probably should not have a bunch of face tattoos, which she had. Um, so she'd searched online about whether she was allowed to bring the weapon to Australia, despite telling the officers at the time she forgot she had it with her. And then a review of her phone revealed she'd searched online. Can I have a gun in my suitcase?
Dude, that's always so
Yeah.
funny to me whenever people do that. Like there's this like clip that gets recirculated on the internet every now and then, and it's a real thing, and there's real victims, and that's fucked up, and that don't hit for me. But it's this clip of this dude who like killed one of his family members or something, and he's sitting in court, and they read off all of the Google
Mm,
searches he had between the time
I
he
remember
killed
that
the
guy. Yeah.
person. You're right.
Uh,
And it's like 25 in a row. That's like, how much lie do you need to cover up
mhm.
the stink of a dead body? can people what tool is best for dismembering a body? What like all these, and it's just always so funny to me when people do that, even though it's fucked up. But yeah, she tried to tell him, I didn't even know it was in there. I totally forgot, which as an American you might think would be a good excuse. We just have guns around us all the time, but not if you Googled, can I bring my gun to Australia or whatever.
So they asked her if she's carrying any prohibited items, and customs, of course, they're going to do. And she said, nope. And they said, what about the gun in your bag? She said, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And also, she had set a calendar entry with a note reminding her to put gun in suitcase.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But wait, did you say that she's got a year? Like, she's going to have to do a year in Australian jail, though?
It was like she got a year total sentence, but only 4 months of it's in custody. And then she gets like some sort of like probation kind of thing or whatever. So here's the real punchline to it. She had previously told the court she had come to Australia to attend clown school.
Bro, no, stop.
You gotta tool up when you're going to clown college in Australia, buddy. Those clowns don't fuck around.
It's also just an American bringing a gold-plated gun into Australia and getting caught doing so because they were going there to attend clown school. It's just it's just way too on the bright red nose, right? It's like, I'm really kind of starting to believe that we do live in a simulation. I really sort of am. Like the further forward we go into this circus like future of ours, and some of the stuff we're talking about tonight fits with that too. But I can't find a better explanation for some of it. Some of this stuff is just too.
Still going back to my theory that the Large Hadron Collider exploded in 2013, and we got pushed into Earth 97, where all the stupidest shit is happening.
It feels like we're definitely in the dumbest timeline. It's felt like that for a while. Yeah, it's fun. So that's your what do they call it? That's your like branching off point in the timeline, because I've seen people say that Harambe getting murdered at the Cincinnati Zoo, that was the time when the timeline split off. I've seen people say that the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series, that was the time that the timeline split off. Obviously, Donald Trump winning the presidential election. But people have varying theories about when our timeline split off into the dumbest possible one.
I think it was probably the day that LP, the rapper, learned about the Mandela effect, because he could have sworn during his whole childhood it was the Bernstein Bears because they were Jewish. But they weren't. They were the Berenstain Bears because the Bears were never. They were the Berenstain Bears. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay, no. I'm just very quick because everybody knows that example. It's a famous example. Are you saying that in your mind it was Berenstain? Because I also remember Berenstain. Like
you do. No, you don't. You do not remember Berenstain.
But I do, though, Mark.
Trey.
I do. The Berenstain Bears.
The bears who lived in the woods to teach children lessons about family were never Jewish.
Well,
there was never a point to...
What's Berenstain? That's
the real guy's name.
I know. Is that demonstrably not Jewish? Is what I'm asking.
He's just a German guy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, sometimes I get those mixed up, which wouldn't hit for either side. But yeah, no, that's the most famous example of the Mandela effect, and that's one that I have always not subscribed to, but because I know I don't believe we live in a fucking multiverse, separate timeline or whatever. I mean, we might, but I'm saying I believe that it was always Berenstain. I do believe that, but I recall Berenstain in my head. When I heard that for the first time, I was like, no. That ain't right. That's fucking crazy.
There's lots of stuff we all remember wrong. Like Darth Vader never says, "Luke, I am your father."
Right. Yes.
Right. But the only pushback I'll give you about the Berenstain Bears being the most prominent example is that Nelson Mandela is the most.
It's the one it's named after. Yeah. Right. I mean, I guess that's.
When he died, everybody thought he had already died, and that's
I mean, I guess I can't really argue with that. They probably would have named it the Berenstain effect if that was the most prominent example. So, anyway, all right. We got a good show for y'all tonight. Producer Matt is with us back there doing his thing. He's back in the building, everybody. This is Weekly Skews. Before we continue, I have to remind you of a couple of things real quick, as always. First, if you'd like to see me do stand-up comedy live and in person, and of course, I would hope that you would want to do that, go to TreyCrowder.com. Check out my upcoming tour dates. This weekend, I'm going to be back home for the holidays like I am every year, at my favorite club in the country, Zanies in Nashville, my home club. And not only that, I'm going to be there with the founding members of the Skewniverse, Drew Morgan and Corey Ryan Forrester. We're all going to be together. It's going to be another well-read weekend. We don't have a lot of those anymore. So if you're anywhere within, I would say, frankly, a 1,500-mile radius of Nashville, you should make the concerted effort to take the trip down and watch us do that weekend. I'm closing out the year solo in Chicago, Illinois on December 21st. And then I got a ton of dates in 2025 already up on the website. So go to TreyCrowder.com and check those out. Come see me. Now, if you enjoy this program and would like to show your support, you can do so by signing up on Patreon. You go to weeklyskews.com/more, or you can just go to Patreon and search for my name. You'll find it either way. $5 a month gets you access to 2 full-length bonus episodes. We got one coming up this week. We're doing a holiday Q&A. We answer your burning questions. We do those. We also talk about things that happen in the interim between the episodes. But it's just this show, but more of it. And also periodically, we answer questions from you, the beloved skewers. So if that sounds good to you and you'd like to get some more skews in your life and support the show in the process, please consider signing up on Patreon. Now, as for the show tonight, Mark already told you what we're talking about. I mean, I'm sure you knew before you showed up what we were talking about. The man, the most beloved assassin in recent memory has been apparently apprehended at a McDonald's in small town Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about that, but also another story that's flying under the radar as a result of that one, and that is Hawk Tuah and the big crypto scam to end all, actually, maybe just to begin all crypto scams. Anyway, we'll talk about all that a little later, but first we begin, of course, with the Daily Dumbass, man. Tonight's DD, anyone who thinks that vigilante murderers are heroes. Right. Anyway, next up, the story of a vigilante murderer who's definitely a hero. This is Laura Ingraham on Fox News.
We'll dig into it later. The Instagram posts from nutbag people, which I was sent in the commercial break earlier, crazy. Like, he's cute, and people celebrating this. This is a sickness. Honestly, it's so disappointing, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And up next, the other big news out of New York, Daniel Penny. A lot of people think he's a hero, and tonight he's not guilty. My take next.
So if you guys don't remember, Daniel Penny was the guy who choked out that homeless Perry. Sorry. She said Penny, right? Either way, he's the guy that choked out the
Penny. You're
homeless.
Right, Penny. Sorry, yeah.
Choked out the
Perry's
homeless.
A different guy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Choked out the homeless guy on the subway a while back, and fucking simulation. Like on the same day, that guy was found not guilty. He was acquitted for killing that homeless person at the same day. On the same day that noted spaghetti person vigilante Luigi Mangione was arrested in Pennsylvania.
And I can't believe she would be dumb enough to do those back to back and give us that free content. Usually they'd be self-aware enough to put an ad for catheters in between them. But so the guy that Penny killed, his name was Jordan Neely. He was a black dude, desperately homeless, being diagnosed with schizophrenia. And what he was doing what a schizophrenic person does in a subway. He was screaming and bugging people and also talking about how he was sick of being hungry and thirsty and would rather die. So Penny obliged him and choked him to death over the course of 6 minutes while people filmed it and said, "Hey, dude, I think you're killing him." Anyway,
right.
He got off.
6 minutes, obviously. Look, dude, if somebody whatever, if I can see an altercation starting on the subway because of a mentally unwell homeless person getting in your face, you react poorly, an altercation starts, but you choke that man out for 6 minutes is a long time, y'all. If me and Mark just stopped talking right now and sat here in silence for 6 minutes, it would be very weird and off-putting. Now, imagine that silence was happening because one of us was choking the other one out.
I could never be alone with my thoughts that much. Please don't do that.
Right.
So yeah, they caught the guy who shot Brian Thompson, right? The United Healthcare CEO.
Yes.
His name's Luigi Mangione.
Luigi Mangione. Yeah.
He's son of a rich Baltimore real estate family, which I did not see that coming. And yeah, they caught him at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. A restaurant employee evidently recognized him from the surveillance photo that it went viral and called the cops, to whom the person of interest, a.k.a. Mangione, presented the same fake ID that he showed to check into the Manhattan hostel before he did the murder. So I think we threw out he's a hitman theories here at this.
Right.
He also
I wanted to ask you, Mark.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because you're smart, Mark. You're the smartest guy any of us know.
Please
A
stop.
lot of people on the internet, a lot of people on Reddit, in particular, how Reddit be, have been like, I don't buy it. It's clearly bullshit. This guy's a patsy. He's being set up, and I'll tell you how I know. Because anybody that was able to get out of Manhattan after doing something like that would never be caught with the same fake IDs, with the murder weapon, with, I guess, apparently he was dressed in a very similar fashion, if not the same fashion, all in broad daylight. That just doesn't make any sense. That would never happen. Now, me and Drew talked about this today on Well Reads. I'll go ahead and tell you, when I read that, I was like, there's a lot of reasons that might happen. I mean, first of all, he could not be as competent as everybody thinks he is, or also maybe he wanted to get caught. Who knows? Maybe he didn't know he wanted to get caught and then saw how he became a fucking folk hero and then he wants to get caught, or there's a lot of reasons why it might happen. But
can I interrupt you?
What percentage chance do you think there is that this isn't?
While you're doing this misleading diatribe, can I interrupt here with some reality? He confessed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but you're not conspiracy theorists are. And Mark, I don't believe them. I'm saying you're not conspiracy theorists are. They think it's a patented patsy situation where he was like, he's whatever. They've convinced, I don't know, they've offered this guy something or set him up to do it or whatever. But it's like, dude, as soon as you even texted me yesterday a link to his Twitter profile, as soon as I opened that, I was like, oh, that's definitely that dude. That's definitely that motherfucker. Like, I thought that immediately. I was like, well, they clearly got him. But a lot of people just don't want to believe it for various reasons.
When I say he confessed, he had the manifesto in his pocket that he did not deny was his. The only thing he denied during his arraignment was the cash in the bag was his. He said that was planted. And then when they said he had what's called a Faraday bag, that when you put your phone in to block out signals, he said no, it was just a waterproofing bag. So he did not deny. He didn't deny the gun was his. He didn't deny the silencer was his. He didn't deny the manifesto was his. He just denied it was a Faraday bag. And
do you think that he wanted to be captured? That's part of it. If I don't want to say part of his plan, but like he either wanted or expected to be captured, and he was like he's ready for it and he's all right.
Trey, we're spending too much time with this guy's thought processes. It's like you're trying to go through the you're trying to figure out the logic of his behavior, and he's a murderer.
Mark, you have any idea how much time is going to be spent on this dude's thought processes in the?
He wrote them down. Months? We can go talk about that if you want.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, it's going to be a lot of speculation, buddy.
Okay, we got a lot of show to get to. Okay, so he was caught with a ghost gun. Okay, officials have not confirmed this detail, but I can also assume with the reports based upon how dumb he is, he was also wearing Times Square M&M merch, store merch, and an I Heart New York City T-shirt, and showing people his autographed picture of the naked cowboy and his ticket stub to see Kelly live with Kelly and Mark. Okay. He was not some super high level criminal. He's just a guy who shot a guy and got caught. Okay.
And he was okay with the possibility of getting caught for that. It seems like, because I know you said how dumb. Right. But you said how dumb he is, and I know I'm sure you made great grades in school too, and you also are dumb.
No, I did not.
I'm dumb too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't, and you're smart. I did make good grades, and I'm dumb. But this dude was like the valedictorian of the most prestigious private school in Baltimore. He went to the Ivy League school, all this stuff. So it's like, and I think that part is kind of important, Mark, because I think if he wasn't those types of it would be way easier to discredit him as like some unhinged lunatic dipshit living out in the woods by himself, cooking up a manifesto and being crazy, right? They could be just like, this was the act of a crazy man. It's harder to do that, I feel like, with a guy with that type of he's like an all-American boy. This is an all-American boy we're dealing with.
I can't explain this guy's behavior, and it's not worth some criminals basically only get caught when they're stupid. So when a guy gets caught, you're like, well, I can't believe he was this stupid. It's like, yeah, you can, because he was caught. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Cops are not going to find a murderer hundreds of miles away in Altoona, Pennsylvania, unless he was a dumb fuck up. So when he's caught, you're like, I can't believe he's a dumb fuck up. It's like, well, you would have never caught. It's a snake eating its tail sort of thing. The logic, like, do you know what I'm saying?
I do. I just feel like I don't know.
Okay, that's
Me and Drew talked today about it. It just feels to me like maybe he knew he was going to be or wanted to be. I feel like you're just automatically discrediting that. He clearly has a message, Mark. You said he had the fucking manifesto on him, which spells it all out. Like he had something he was trying to say with this.
He could have posted a manifesto on the internet if he just wanted that out there. But also, I think it was the manifesto was in case I get caught or in case I die in a shoot up the cop situation, so the world will know what I meant.
Right.
Okay.
You said ghost gun, by the way. That's when you 3D print, right? You can like print a gun.
I heard it reported both, either a ghost gun or a 3D printed gun. A ghost gun is a gun you assemble from mismatched parts on the internet, so it's untraceable. And a 3D printed gun is a gun you make with a 3D printer. I've seen both. But yeah. So anyway, either way, it's probably the first assassination with a 3D printed gun. So he did make set a record. But yeah, take what McDonald's thing is he could have avoided getting arrested if he just ordered off Uber Eats. The cop said his name wasn't even on their list. So Eric Adams lied when he said they had his name. That was a fucking lie. And NYPD being totally inept at what people think they do all day as the part of this get lost. I want to look at this TV footage here. Again, all parts of America failing at once. Here's a local Fox News coverage of how hard the police are working to find this guy, where they mill around a park and look at a bush.
So, the gunman who killed the CEO there of the largest U.S. health insurer likely left New York City on a bus soon after this brazen ambush that has now shaken corporate America. But he left something behind, a backpack that was discovered in Central Park. Now, police still do not know the gunman's name or whereabouts or had a motive for the killing. You see there NYPD officers searching Central Park in new video. Now, investigators were looking at
He's not even really looking in the bush. He's pretending to look in the bush.
I look for my shanked golf balls way harder than they are looking for this wanted murderer in these Central Park bushes. But yes, it is funny. Yeah. It's like there's a huge group of them too, 7, 8 of them walking together. It's like bush clear, that bush clear. Go ahead, Johnson. It's like, they're really pouring everything they got into it.
New York City closed libraries on Sundays to pay these guys overtime to do this.
Right.
So it made clear from a New York a New York reporter, breaking NYPD police sources say artificial intelligence is going to play a big role in nailing the ID of the gunman who killed the United Healthcare CEO. His mask didn't cover his face. They're doing facial reconstruction. Anyway, what happened was a McDonald's employee saw him, thought he looked kind of like the photo, called the local Altoona police. They showed up and he had the wrong fake ID. So all this effort expended, and the guy got caught because the bored guy on the fry later wanted the $50,000 reward. Okay.
And that's something, dude. It's like that part. That part's kind of hard for me a little bit because it's like I had thought that we as a society had generally accepted that we were going to, I am Spartacus this whole thing, and not roll over on this guy, even if you did see him. But if you're working the fry later at McDonald's, especially if you got like a medical problem that insurance isn't covering or whatever, $50,000 is a lot of money. So I mean, I do get that.
So on Friday, we talked about this in the bonus episode, and I said I would not be surprised if this guy's politics were like Century Normie or MAGA, and I got to say I fucking called it.
You did say that, yep.
Called my fucking shot like Babe Ruth. And in hindsight, the fact his like backpack was like a designer brand called Peak Design should have been a pretty clear giveaway because you basically only get those with 10% off from a podcast ad. So it's a total podcast guy.
Yeah, it was filled with Black Rifle coffee or something like that.
No. Like brain powder, you'd get like Dick Pill, like Blue Chew, and like I'm talking mainstream podcasts.
Yeah, you get like Joe Rogan, like
or like Ezra Klein's podcast. He's a big fan of Ezra Klein.
Oh,
like,
so you're not just saying right wing podcast. You're saying
no.
You're saying yeah. By the way, I just want to let everybody know Mark did call this on the recent Patreon episode. That's the type of insight you only get if you sign up. So you know. Okay, we talked about this right after it happened before he got caught. You guys might have missed it if you weren't signed up. So check that out. Anyway, go ahead.
I want to quote here from New York Police Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney, what he said to reporters. It does seem he has some ill will toward corporate America. Like you fucking think, buddy?
No.
But that's everybody in 2024 America. Like you gotta be more specific, right? And you're talking about a writer I read Substack. The guy's name is Max Reed, so it's confusing. But he went through a breakdown of like all of his internet posts and like who he follows and his activity. Let me give you a list of people he follows. Okay, Ezra Klein, Sam Altman, Edward Snowden, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Brent Weinstein, John McAfee, Joe Rogan, and Steve-O from Jackass. Okay.
Okay. So he's basically like enlightened centrist bro intellectual guy who likes to be well read and well informed and right. And he's like, yeah, fuck all that woke shit, but I'm not gonna say I'm right wing either. And it's like, he just wants to be he likes all those Andrew Huberman and guys like that and that type of shit.
He's slightly more centrist to me with slightly more anger. That's basically
I was gonna like try to call you on you saying slightly more anger, and then I remembered who I was talking to. Considering this guy executed a man in public, but yeah, slightly is an accurate accurate qualifier.
Those are not that's not the follow list of like a person who's like in the DSA or a member of Black Bloc, the Antifa group, or anyone like a Molon Labe guy who's like come and take it right winger or a Nazi shit poster. Like this is a guy you run into at the gym. Right? If you know anybody who works in tech or Wall Street, you know this guy. I know 50 of this guy.
Yeah.
The basic thought line, I'm quoting here from Max Reed, the basic thought line of his ideology is, the world is getting worse and phones are killing us. Politics won't save us, but technology might. In the meantime, lift weights, take supplements, and listen to podcasts. Okay?
Uh-huh.
That's basically...
I mean, the thing is, when you put it that way, I'm like, this guy's spitting, Like every word of what you just said, I think is pretty good. I mean, I don't know how much most supplements do, but the rest of that, I feel like I totally anecdotally, I feel like most 26-year-old white guys, especially middle class or above white guys in this country, are like very close to what this dude is. Like,
outside of the murder, he's utterly normal. Right. That's the thing. Like he's just perfectly normal, except the fact he decided to murder a stranger for like random political beliefs
that's telling, right? Or that's important. The fact that that is true. The fact that he is a normal guy who made the decision to do something like this. Like
but he's one, you said supplements don't work, and I want you to go look at pictures of Luigi with his shirt off and tell me that again, buddy. That guy was fucking jacked. Second. But the political beliefs he killed for were utterly centrist and observational. There was nothing like conspiracy theory driven about it. Like we'll get to his manifesto in a second, but like I read an article as an interview with people. He ran a book club in Hawaii. He was one of the leaders of a book club, and he was beloved. He ended up having chronic back pain after a surfing accident or compounded by a surfing accident, where like his vertebrae would slip out all the time, which may be part of his anger towards the U.S. healthcare system. But like the podcast was going great and didn't break up to try to get everybody to read the Unabomber's manifesto after he wrote a long positive review of it in Goodreads. Okay. I
haven't read the whole thing. I'm sure over the years you've read parts of the Unabomber's manifesto, right?
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of times out there where you're like, he's making some pretty good points. Like you can't just you can't go maiming innocent people that have nothing to do with it with explosions and shit. But like, Dude. A lot of the shit he says was pretty prescient.
Banks are bad. Technology makes us miserable, and we should all live in a cabin in the woods. The utterly normal thing to feel. We just can't do it because commerce doesn't work that way. We have to live around other people and sell stuff to them, right? So, so as far as why he did do it, Laura Loomer, Trump's internet rumored girlfriend,
side piece,
has a theory. She says Luigi is Facebook friends with Moses Hetfield. Hetfield is one of Mangione's few Facebook friends. Hetfield is the son of Mark Hetfield, who's the president of the Jewish NGO who supports refugees, which facilitates immigration into the United States with funding from the DHS. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was on the board of this organization before he was appointed by Joe Biden. Moses' mother is Miriam Hetfield, who works at DHS. Therefore, it's the Jews and Joe Biden who put Luigi up to it for reasons that we'll figure out later.
Sure. Before we could, Matt, leave that up. At the bottom of this post, she said the last thing she says is, "What are the odds that the alleged shooter has 1 degree of separation away from DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas?" And I would answer if he went to a fucking prestigious Baltimore private school, and his family
Right.
is like high-level rich Baltimore people right outside of Washington, D.C., the odds are pretty goddamn good that would happen because, as George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it or whatever. It's not at all. Vegas would give, like, I don't know, minus 2,500 odds on that being the case or something. Like, you'd almost lose money taking that bet because it makes all the sense in the fucking world given the geography and the context of the situation. But
so apparently we're not going to get to the crypto stuff today. We'll save that for the next show. But yeah, when you do the 6 degrees of separation stuff, I've brought this up before, but I once got from myself to Saddam Hussein in 4 moves. Okay. So, but you want to do it just with our little show. We got a message from a viewer who I'm not going to name because she didn't give me permission to, but I hope you're watching. She said one of her best friend's youngest kids was good friends with Luigi. So we are 2 degrees removed from Luigi. Okay?
That's a great point. Yeah. He put aside what I said. I'm from rural Tennessee. You're from rural Virginia. We both live in Los Angeles, and you and I are 2 degrees removed from Luigi. So yeah. The world's small, baby. It's weird.
So Luigi was a big, he worked in tech and he was a big proponent of, he's a big AI enthusiast. He also had bad back pain. So 2 reasons off the top of my head he could be mad at United Healthcare are because he had chronic back pain they wouldn't help him with, and also because United Healthcare was making AI look bad by using it to reject all their claims. But now it is what we thought. That a reporter got a hold of his manifesto. I'll just quote one line from it. It's not very long. It's like 250 words. He's one of these guys who's not super up his own ass about his own beliefs. He just said, a reminder, the U.S. is the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world. You'll be ranked number 42 in life expectancy. That's basically the gist.
He also said at the very end of it, the last sentence of it was, something like, I'm sorry, I'm just the only person to have confronted this reality with brutal honesty or something like that, which also powerful.
He's like one of those, United Healthcare is one of those profitable corporations on the planet, and they're not spending that money taking care of us, even though we pay them to, that kind of thing. So the internet still loves him, obviously. On Etsy, Wired found almost 100 different listings featuring products with Mangione's name or image, including a tote bag with pictures of the alleged shooter alongside the phrase, "Mama, I'm in love with the criminal." But when Etsy ladies who use tote bags are cheering on a murder, some shit's fucked up.
Dude, look, man, we've all heard the stories over the years about like fucking like Charles Manson, his hobo Nazi ass got all these marriage proposals and stuff, and all that always happens when you considering that this dude's got to be the Wilt Chamberlain of getting love letters in prison or whatever. This guy, a folk hero who looks like that, lights out, buddy. R.I.P. their inbox. Good Lord, it's never going to stop.
And the pearl clutching, but I can't believe people would support a murder. It's like, bro, like John Dillinger was a fucking hero. I don't know, I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
That's the thing about Laura Ingraham and all that, and that what she did. I feel like that's actually kind of telling because that was coming from her producers and the people at Fox News, which maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it feels like because all they do is pander. Their expectation is that that's what their audience wants to hear is her being like, this is disgusting that people would support this man. But like, that ain't what I've seen. I've seen people on both sides, Fox Newsy ass people who were like, no, fuck that motherfucker. Like, dude, he should have been like, this is unified the country, this murder in a lot of ways.
Ben Shapiro's audience, like a big chunk of them turned on him for trying to frame this as a left versus right issue. Like they're trying to frame it this way, man. The culture war does not plug into this the way they want it to, but they're trying to manufacture it. Okay,
right?
Like talk about trying to manufacture it, and it like the bosses have noticed and freaked out. But a lot of the corporate coastal media, I'm not alleging any sort of conspiratorial thing at this point, right now, at this particular moment, but they can often be understood as the voice of the bosses because they work in the managerial class, and all the people they went to college with are guys like Brian Thompson.
Exactly. Okay? Yes.
So throw the screen grab up of this headline, Matt, from the San Francisco Chronicle. The recent killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan has brought renewed attention to the escalating costs of protecting top executives.
Right.
That's what this is about, is the escalating cost of protecting top executives, not of healthcare.
Yeah, but to jerk my own self off for a minute here on our show Friday when you called what he would be like, I said something. We were talking about the CEO, all the other CEOs, and whether they'd have any introspection or not. And I said something like, they're not going to change the way they act or the way they treat people or the way they operate. What they're going to do is they're going to deny enough additional claims to be able to put aside $2 million more for personal security or something like They're just going to beef up their fucking autonomous drone fleet, hire a couple more body doubles or something like that's all they're going to fucking do.
Bro, the Trump administration might give them all U.S. Marshals.
Oh my God.
The funhouse mirror part of this is going to kill me because when people like just fucking have no idea what they're talking about and don't even want to learn. The New York Times had a focus group today of Trump voters that a lot of people's explanations for why they voted the way they did and why they think the way they did. If you want to vote for Trump, fucking vote for him, okay? Well, but like you should at least like Google what is Trump, okay? This woman, 28-year-old white woman named Seneca from Arizona said, I voted for him because I thought he was really smart and really good with money and then also healthcare. I think it's really cool that he's going to take on fighting the big healthcare corporations that are charging insane amounts and hopefully get that under control. Okay? The only thing Trump has is other than repealing Obamacare, which he did not campaign on and lied about, says his tax cuts, and his proposed tax cuts will give United Health Group over $1 billion in cash, just straight up cash, that hopefully maybe they'll use to pay for this fucking lady's psychiatric meds. So anyway,
right. Well, that is kind of the bigger question, though, isn't it, Mark? Is that like disconnect between this has illustrated that most regular Americans are on the same page about this underlying inequity or injustice. Most people are mad about the same stuff and feel like fuck these motherfuckers, which should be potentially unifying and exploitable or whatever. But then you run into this problem where people have, I guess the most charitable way to put it is different interpretations of what the approach to that should be. But like, I mean, that's the real problem, right? Like if you could get everybody they're already like in a macro philosophical sense on the same page about so much of this. If you could get them on the same page politically or whatever, then shit could really change and things could really get better. But how do you do that when you have people like Seneca, 28 from Arizona,
well, dude, my misread of this election was not realizing that a bunch of people are as angry as I am. Okay.
Right.
I generally assume other people aren't. Because
it seems like everybody's angry.
Right. So that was my fuck up, and I think a lot of people like sort of made the same assumption. But like, I would start just tonally, how you think about candidates, run people who are full of righteous fury,
right?
Because Trump pretends to be full of righteous fury,
right? Yeah,
he's just full of fury. So that would be my baseline thing. Is like maybe find somebody who's actually mad because a lot of y'all don't seem mad, and
that's
that seems like
call.
Part of the problem. If you're not mad, you're not paying attention. And why would you vote for somebody who's not fucking paying attention?
Yep.
All right. So moving on from Trump's plan to give United Healthcare Group tax breaks for killing their grandmas. Let's talk about some other corrupt robber baron shit. I wanted to talk about Trump 2's plan to steal real money using crypto. But first, I thought it'd be fun to look at how this market and the players really work by examining the recent hijinks of America's sweetheart, the Hawk Tuah girl, Haley Welch. If you got this video, man.
My Hawk meme coin is live.
Okay, all right. So I feel like a lot of I feel like she's gotten. I mean, I know it's still a shitstorm for her, but I feel like she's gotten lucky pretty majorly in that. Like, I know me personally, I've been so wrapped up in the CEO assassin and his capture and all that. Like, I have not been able to follow this whole deal where apparently the Hawk Tuah girl like defrauded her fans out of $50 million in crypto something or like, right? Like, what the fuck?
Kind of. Well, yeah, we're going to get into it. But yeah, so she launched her meme coin. Then 15 minutes later, you get this headline from Barstool Sports, which is ostensibly her employer who she contracts with through her podcast. The Hawk Tuah girl launched a meme coin. Everybody lost their money and people wanted her thrown in jail. Okay, so she had people, yeah. Didn't you read this other screen grab from Twitter where this guy is super mad at her? He had quote tweeted a chart of the declining value of her crypto asset and said, Hawk Tuah girl is a Jewish parentheses Mossad plant. Don't forget that. So they're hitting her with the same shit Reddit used to hit you with, Trey.
Literally, anytime something goes wrong for people or whatever it is, or a certain type of people, it's like you just default right to the Jews. You know, it's like it was the Jews who did this. Before we get further into this, speaking from a place of ignorance, which I'm going to make very apparent right now, I've said many times over the years, I believe in personal responsibility and things like that. I'm not saying it's okay to be predatory with these types of scams and shit like that, but I find it hard to sympathize with anybody who lost their goddamn mortgage and is going to end up being divorced because they put their family's entire life savings into the Hawk coin or whatever. Like, that don't make it okay what they did, but come on, dog. Like,
but
what
the
fuck
danger
are you doing?
First of all, I do feel bad for people that get taken by scams, although that's not really what's happening in these crypto stuff. What's happening is everybody's trying to scam each other and some of them lose. Okay, we're going to get into that in a little bit if we have time. But in general, this is a danger to the rest of us because we're essentially doing bank runs all the time, all over the place, and the rest of us are going to lose because of it. So that's the reason it should be fucking.
Because bank runs can have collateral damage. They can have larger, ripple effects that fuck up a lot of other things and a lot of other people. So
that guy you was talking about who loses his house because he put all of his family's money into Hawk coin, he's now homeless. His house is foreclosed on. Property values drop, including your property values. We all live in this together. Okay.
Yep. No, you're right. I retract what I said. That's a good point, actually. Well, I should have known that. I should have understood that before you had to explain that to me, that we all have to live, because that was the whole message, not the message, but a huge takeaway from this election was wanting to feel like, you know what, deal with the fucking consequences then, if this is what you wanted, but then further realizing like, oh wait, I live here too. And I'm also going to have to deal with those consequences.
Yeah,
so,
I've seen people saying, well, like the people who voted, not realizing they're voting to deport their relatives, fuck them, let it happen. I'm like, nope, sorry, I don't want the relatives to get deported, even if they fucked up. Sorry. So what happened here? Haley launched Hawk Coin on December 4th. Once trade had started, value peaked around $490 million we're bet on Hawk Coins.
Fuck,
okay.
dude.
Within hours, the token's value crashed as over 91% of tokens were sold by insider wallets and bot snipers. This is also stupid. A bot sniper is basically a computer program that does high-speed trades to make fractions of money on arbitrage, doing quick trading. So Welch and her team have denied any wrongdoing, but the thing with blockchain is you can watch the money move around in real time. And her and her people who had pledged not to sell theirs, but to hold them, had done insider trading and sold tokens for around $3.3 million. So they cost people $50 million to make $3 million.
Okay. You said her and her people. Is this full disclosure, Dodgers fan now? Is this like a Shohei Ohtani thing where it's like where there's some ignorance where she can be like, I don't speak that language. I'm sorry. Right. This person, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if the non-sports fans get the analogy, but
it's like paying Hanna-Barbera to put Scooby-Doo in a lunchbox. She didn't do anything other than promote. Right. Yeah. She's like, Hawk Tuah girl's not coding or anything. Right.
Right. Or coming up with any of this or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, her rise is going to be studied in a series of books. Like, she just went viral this past summer, and then at this rate, she's going to be Cleopatra lording over all of North America by like fucking March.
Bro, even just a minute ago when you said that the value of the crypto coin named Hawk, which is after a blowjob reference, it's $490 million. Like, what even is any of this? What are we, like you said, it's going to be studied, and if there are history books in the future, like good luck making sense of all this stuff. This timeline, I just don't know, dude. It's wild. It's truly wild.
So in an interview with Fortune magazine talking about this launch, Welch said she used to conceive of crypto as, quote, just a scam and an easy way for you to lose money. But she changed her mind after going to a couple of conferences, which is her way of saying she figured out that her role in this system would be to switch from potential prey to potential predator.
Right, making the money, yeah.
Right, which is how everyone gets into this, right? It's worth noting that Trump also used to call crypto a scam until he got internet. Now he and his friends sell a bunch, and Truth Social is about to become a crypto exchange. Okay. The dynamic I want everyone to understand here is there are no victims, only volunteers. It's like this whole system is like even more nihilistic Las Vegas, where you can win, yeah, but the only consistent way to win is to be the casino, which is again why Trump is becoming a crypto exchange.
Right.
Go back to Hawk Tuah for a second. This part of her career has made the avatar for a thing I've been struggling to describe. Like it's this modern wide acceptance of not just acceptance but praise of greed chasing nihilism. Like a month ago we talked about how I think a symptom of our age is like it used to be not cool to sell out, and now everybody sells out as fast as possible and doesn't even get criticized for it. Whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's that hustle grind set mentality, right? It's because that's what it's all about. It's like, and it's all,
right.
And one of the unfortunate, I don't even know if you could call it a side effect, but one of the things that sucks the most about that is it's accepted that I guess JP Morgan said there's a sucker born every minute, or PT Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute 200 years ago. So I guess maybe it isn't that different, but just the people just accepting that doing that is going to fuck up. You winning is going to make other people lose. And that's whole part of the game. And that's what you should be striving towards, like that's what the culture is. But
like the only way this system works for people to make money is the majority of people are suckers, but none of them think they're the sucker.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So the main thing is scams like this used to be a bit trashy or shameful. At least like if people found out you were doing them or whatever, you'd have to be you wouldn't be accepted in polite society, or people wouldn't admit thinking you're cool. But now it's like aspirational to a lot of young people, and there's been a lot of hand wringing over the move to the right among younger men this last election. Where I think young male voters swung to the right by 12 percentage points. And people seem to assume it's because they listen to the wrong kind of podcasts, like our boy Luigi did. But it's worth noting that a lot of these podcasters and hucksters, are sort of aligned with Trump, but they're mostly just aligned with getting rich. That's what their allegiance is to. The purpose of all their streaming and posting and podcasting is to attract attention and then convert that attention into money, just like their hero Donald Trump, right? So they're not exactly Trump followers. They're Trump people who emulate him. Okay.
Right.
And going back to the young men thing for a second, like you quoted P.T. Barnum when you said it was J.P. Morgan, but here's a J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan put out a study recently said a thing we all know is true, but they have data behind it. That crypto usage is more prominent among younger individuals, and men are more actively engaged in each age group. Okay. So one way we can think of this past election is as a crypto election for a lot of people. And that same focus group as earlier with that Trump voter who said she voted for Trump because he's going to fix healthcare. All right. Let me quote a 23-year-old white guy from New Jersey who works as a lacrosse coach named Eric. Reason he was happy he voted for Trump. He was asked to name a good thing happening in America, and he said cryptocurrency is skyrocketing. Okay. And he's not wrong. Since election day, it shot up from less than $80,000 a Bitcoin to over 100. It's now back below 100, but that's why it's useless as a currency and really risky as a speculative investment, because it goes up and down like fucking I don't know. A kangaroo on a tramp? What's a fucking shitty analogy? I don't know.
Kangaroo on a trampoline. You had it. You were there.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself, Mark. Anyway, go ahead.
I just got halfway through it. And I was like, this makes me sound older than I even am. It's a fucking babble ass joke. So I just want to say the kids are fucking dumb, but they're not stupid. Okay.
Right.
They have a sense of long-term stuff, but they understand what's going to make crypto go up, and getting Donald Trump elected is going to make crypto go up. Okay.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that Trump talks in these undiagrammable sentences and dog whistles, and he says opposite things to opposite people, but his consistent message to everyone is, I will help you have more money. In fact,
it's like you said about how everybody's P.T. Barnum and nobody's the sucker or whatever, which is not how you said, but that's how you look at Trump too. It's like, I'll make all of y'all, we'll make all these other dumbasses pay and we'll all be rich. But it's like, that ain't how. Somebody's got to be the dumbass. Somebody's the person that's getting took. You can't all be the fucking swindler holding the bag at the end.
I couldn't find the clip, but I remember watching him at a rally literally go, I am going to make you all rich. He said that to a crowd of thousands of people. Okay. And I don't know how much that resonates with people because it seems so full of shit to me. But there's a mind-blowing study that came out recently. Axios wrote it up. What they did it by age cohort, what it takes to be financially successful by generations. They asked a bunch of different people what they thought, how much money you needed to make a year to be successful. Boomers said $100,000. Okay, which depending on where you live is a great living in America. If you're, it's not if you're in San Francisco or New York, but LA you can pay your rent and eat out a few you get takeout every now and then and drive a decent car as long as it's a Honda. Okay, Gen X said $212,000 a year, which way to go, Gen X, I guess. Millennials were a little, more reasonable, said $180,000.
Yeah, it's weird to me that we went down. That it went, Gen X went up, and then
it's
Millennials
not to me.
Went back down.
It's not to me. Gen X has more money than everybody.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, there you go.
But the youngest workers, the Gen Z cohort, think they have to earn almost $600,000 a year to be successful.
Right, and this further. They all think they're going to do that, right?
71% think they're going to do that.
Right. Like, that's the even worse part of it. And it's like, dude, you can't tell me this isn't because of them being exposed to all these, like I said, fucking grind set alpha male Ferrari driving dipshits on YouTube and social media and all this stuff. Their whole culture is flossing and ripping other people off. As, Andrew Tate's their fucking god, a lot of them, and he openly brags all the time about all the people he's exploited and screwed over and fucked out of their money to make himself rich. And it's just, you got to be, I don't know, you got to have 3 Ferraris or you're not even middle class in their mind after years of that. But it's awful. It's awful.
I have tremendous difficulty processing economic, emotional data from people about how well off they feel or don't feel. Outside of I can tell people are pretty economically, frustrated with healthcare when they're cheering on the murder of a CEO, right?
Right. Yeah.
But when people say they're not making enough money, but also they think enough is $600,000 a year, it makes me want to fucking pull my non-existent hair out. But I kind of was trying to think out what a society even looks like if everyone makes $600,000. It's like we all go out to eat for sushi every night, but no one fucking works there. You know what I'm saying? What does this even look? What is the world to you? What fucking how far up your
right
up your ass?
Well, that's why we need. I don't know, the endless pursuit of growth and profit and shit and capitalism, which leads to larger wealth inequality and all that stuff, has got to fucking stop, because it would be better for everybody if we live. If your passion as a young Japanese person or a young person from Kansas, I don't give a fuck, is making sushi, that's your passion, you should be able to do that for a living for your entire life and live respectably, right? Have a family and pay your bills and shit. And there was a fleeting moment in the mid-century, in the 20th century, where as long as you were white and everything, that seemed like it might be possible one day. But then again, the drug of capitalism, America got fully addicted to it. Ronald Reagan and it was just the endless pursuit of growth and unsustainable growth and all this stuff. And it's you just can't, there's no other logical or endpoint for that stuff than that. There's a few people at the top and everybody else destitute, and it's I
probably know thousands of people, and off the top of my head, I can name one that I know makes more than $600,000 a year, and a second one that's probably had a couple years where he made more than that, and then not anymore. Okay. So I don't even know where these kids think they're going to get them, whatever. Anyway, so a lot of them are leveraged into crypto. A lot of them think they're going to pop off, and some of them might. And a lot of them think they're going to be on this scam we're about to talk about. They're probably going to be left holding the bag, just like the fucking rest of us who have money in the treasury. Okay. This piece I'm going to be working off of is called "The Crypto Plot Against America's Gold Reserves" is in the American Prospect. So the crypto industry was one of the biggest spenders in the 2024 election, which has a made-up fake industry that doesn't do anything, have enough money to throw around in politics like this. You start answering questions like that, and you'll get really far to explaining a lot of stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, well, hell, they bought the Staples Center, Mark. You're a basketball fan. Even before the politics and stuff, they
bought the naming rights.
I know, but I mean, that's what I mean. It's a crypto, because that's the, I don't know, cultural clout or whatever that the idea of crypto had at some point. That's the value that people assign to it, even though all this shit is made up,
Well, the one they bought the naming rights, not the arena, which is an important distinction.
I know,
Notice
yeah.
Crypto.com is an exchange. It's not just owning bitcoins. Owning the casino is different. You know the whole thing where like when there's a gold rush, you don't want to be mining claims. You want to be selling the axes and shovels, right?
Of course.
That's owning the crypto exchange. Okay.
Yeah, of course. All I'm saying is that it like points to the sort of cultural phenomenon status of crypto and everything that's going on with it, and how big of a thing it is.
They also crypto.com immediately went broke, at least for a while, because Bitcoin goes up and the crypto stuff goes up and down so much. It's like that was in the era when Tom Brady was doing Super Bowl ads for them, and then the market, the bottom fell out of the market, and then they made a comeback because of reasons that I don't understand. Anyway, here we are. But yeah, crypto's become politically powerful. We talked about how they single-handedly bought the Ohio Senate seat away from Sherrod Brown. It's been a while since California's Senate primary, but one of the big reasons that Katie Porter couldn't beat Adam Schiff is because crypto spent like $10 million trying to rat fuck her in the primary, and they successfully convinced Trump, who sees through a scam a mile away, to get in on it, and now he's convinced that crypto is overregulated somehow. So now the crypto has bought all that political influence. It's time to cash in. And the basic idea here is to turn the American government into the biggest crypto holder of all time. And because whales, not the little guy, not the people we're talking about buying a chunk of a Bitcoin or one Bitcoin, whales hold most of it. It will be one of the biggest upward transfers of wealth in world history.
Right.
As a couple,
that if that happens, it would be one of the biggest upward transfers of wealth in world history. And how many different crypto bros you think are out there right now that are fully bought into this shit are singing the praises of Luigi, right? Of him and what he did and the reasons why he did it, right? Because we're getting fucked over by these people, yet they're actively participating in that. So
yeah, there's a couple different plans for ways Trump administration can do this. The smaller ones are like, when I say small here, we got to think in terms of federal budget, but like you can move smaller pockets of money around. They're just under the president's and the president and the Fed's control to buy crypto. They add up to about 50 billion total, which the stakes of stuff we're worried about with Donald Trump, still 50 billion. Fuck it. But the big one here has been formally introduced in a crypto bill by Senator Cynthia Lummis, Republican from Wyoming. It's called the Boosting Innovation, Technology, and Competitiveness Through Optimized Investment Nationwide Act. You want to guess what that spells out?
Yeah, Bitcoin. But somebody who used to work for the federal government, some intern is getting jerked off by all the other interns for helping to come up with that, dude. They live to come up with fucking acronyms in the federal government. Sorry, we got cut off for it. Now, yeah, sorry, I guess we're back. I was just saying, as somebody who worked in the federal government, nothing hits for them harder than pithy acronyms.
Yeah.
Like, they love that shit.
So Loomis's bill will propose the Treasury issue no gold certificates based upon the market price of gold in the Federal Reserve and use the resulting cash, which is $677 billion at current prices, which when you're selling gold, I'm not an economist, but when you're selling gold, I'm assuming the gold's become worth less. And when you're buying Bitcoin, the Bitcoin value is going to go up. So it's going to be more expensive than this. But her starting price is $677 billion at current prices to buy Bitcoins. In total, her bill will require the government to buy up to 200,000 Bitcoins a year for 5 years until America has a strategic reserve of 1 million Bitcoins. So this is basically so paper Bitcoin billionaires can cash out all their holdings into real money without tanking the market. So this is the way to take all their money out of the crypto without letting the regular rubes know they're getting fucked, so the price won't drop until they're all out of it. And hopefully make the Federal Reserve will have to prop up all these Bitcoins in perpetuity by continuously buying them, so these morons never realize they lose money and start a revolution. So this whole thing is so incredibly stupid. We're all going to end up wearing barrels for pants in 5 years because Cynthia Lummis figured out how to spell Bitcoin in a fucking law. This is so goddamn stupid. That gold is fucking mine and yours, Trey.
That's right.
Our ancestors dug it out of the goddamn ground. We pay taxes to keep it in a hole in fucking Fort Knox, where under the aliens and shit. So there.
Yeah, man. Like you said, I don't know. Well, welcome to the future, y'all. The dumbest of all possible timelines. We're living in it right now. Listen. Oh, I meant to say this forever ago and I forgot. So last minute announcement. Next week's show will be our last show of this year because it's worked out this year that Tuesday is on the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are both on a Tuesday. We're not going to do a live show on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. That would be insane. We both have families, and also that just wouldn't hit for anybody. So next week's show, December 17th, will be the last show of the year. Make sure you show up. And then we'll just keep doing it next year too. But just letting you guys know. Thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate it. We're doing a Q&A this week on the Patreon. Sign up for the Patreon at weeklyskews.com/more. Go to TreyCrowder.com. Check out my upcoming tour dates. Come see me, Corey, and Drew in Nashville at Zany's this weekend, our favorite club in the country. It's going to be a lot of fun, and just try to keep enjoying the holidays. You know what I mean? Sometimes stuff hits, medical health insurance CEO got murdered. That's cool, right? We can all agree on that. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And we'll be back next Tuesday. Love you. Bye.
Skews.